Greetings. Well, today we have a new student, and that student is coming into Library World, which is the default entry place for all students that are coming into 3DU. We're going to change that in just a little bit, but the first thing you need to know is that you will res your avatar up in the clouds. Don't worry about that. It's only temporary. It's a good place to start because you're going to be downloading graphics to your computer over the internet as you start. And that takes a little bit of doing for your internet connection until they're downloaded, and they'll go to your cache, and then they'll load from your cache much more quickly. So a new student is about to log in. Right now you see me waiting for that student up at the entry place, and when they come in they'll perhaps not go anyplace for a little bit until they press the forward key. So I'm going to do that right now, and you'll see that will take me to the ground. Oh, and by the way, sometimes when you are stuck, very important to know, if you click on the screen, it will activate you. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, if you go to View, you can go to a locked overhead view, and what will happen is we'll see our new student. When they come in, they'll fall to the ground. There's our new student. And as you can see, this is actually Scott Miller, who goes by the name of NCAR in our worlds, and you can see that he very obviously does not have a male avatar. That's something that we'll fix up in just a little bit. But the first thing that you want to do when you come in to this world is you want to just put something into the chat. So I'm going to go hello, and I'm going to ask the student to respond. And they already did, obviously. Now what that means that they'll be able to do now is do what I'm going to do, which is right click on that student and go add to contacts. And I believe with the Mac it's you put your thumb on the control pad and then tap with your right finger, if you're right-handed that is. And so they've done that as well. And let's just go to my contacts over in the tabs, and I see that I have student as a contact. Now that's really important. And if you come in and you don't have your tabs there, this is the first thing you may want to know. Go to Show up in your menu, and you can see all the different things that will show on your screen. And if I click on tabs, you'll see it turns it off. If I go back to it and put the check mark beside it, it will come up. And you may notice that there's also a shortcut, which is F9. Now, once you've got your tabs up, you'll see that there's all kinds of different worlds that you can go to, and you can send telegrams, you can do voice chat, but the important thing is that you have people in your contacts so that you can do the following. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run down the street here, and it could be down the street or it could be to another world, and I'm going to turn around and I'm going to say, wow, I really want the student to see this. So what I'm going to do is go to the contacts. I'm going to right click on the student's name and send them an invitation. And that student is now getting an invitation and going to join me. There we go. Now, I think it's kind of really important that that student moves so they don't res if they teleport to where I am, and they teleport to exactly where I'm standing. They'll become a conjoined twin when it gets solid again. So once you go someplace, you should probably just move a little touch into the open. And I'm going to ask that student now to go someplace else and to send me an invite so you can see what that looks like. Okay, so off they go, and they're going to send me an invite. Let's see what that looks like. There we go. And I am going to accept that invite. And there you go. It takes me right to where they are. And again, I moved away from them. All right. Now the other thing that we can do is I'm going to ask that student to go someplace else, and then I'm going to join them without them sending an invite. Oh, and he's actually teleported to a completely different world. He is gone. So where do I find him out of all of those worlds? Very easy. I just right click on his name and go join. And that's going to teleport me to a completely different world. Let's see what world it is. We've teleported to Canada world. And at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to teleport to another world. I'm going to teleport to, I think I'm going to go to my worlds. I'm going to go to the French world, and I'm going to ask NCAR to join me there. There we go, and he's joined me. So I think that that's pretty much all I need you for, NCAR. Thank you so much for coming in as a student. I'll do one more thing before you go. I want to communicate with NCAR. I've already shown you how you can do so down in the chat down below. I'll show you a more private way, because everything that I say to Scott in this particular chat window, everyone else in the world will see. And it's all recorded, by the way, as well. So the things that you communicate in here are recorded, so there is no question about who said what. But I'm going to go to telegrams, which are also recorded. And I see that I don't have any current telegrams outstanding. But I'm going to go to my contacts, and I'm going to send Scott a telegram. And here we go. And I'm going to AKA Mr. E. And I'll have NCAR send me a telegram back in response, so you can see what that looks like. Now I don't know if you heard that, but there was a little bell that sounded of sorts, and that lets me know that I have a telegram. And there it is, my telegram from student. And there's my message that shows here. And now that doesn't show to everyone, that just shows to me and on the records for communication. So thank you very much, NCAR, for your help and your assistance today, as usual. And have a wonderful day. Okay, and now that Scott has left us, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, some of you came in as an avatar that doesn't look at all like you, and you probably want to make some basic changes. So the first thing you might want to do is look at view, and that will, because you come in as first person, and of course in first person like this you don't see what you look like. So if you go to view, you can go down to front camera, and that will show you exactly what you look like. And of course that's exactly what I look like, although my wife would say that my avatar is a little bit thinner than I am in real life. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that so that I come in as you may have come in, and I'm going to change it to a female human adult. So there we go. That's me right now. I'm going to apply that, and I'm going to save that as female default. Okay, and then I'm going to leave the the avatar modifier. So there I am as a female adult, and here's what I'm going to want you to do is to go to the t-shirt, and you probably find yours down at the bottom actually, and we're going to keep you as human, but we're going to, if you happen to be male, we'll change you to male. If you're female, stay as a female. And then we're going to go to adult, and you can change it to teen and go apply. Don't forget to do that. And then go save preset, and we'll save that as student default. Now there is a video that we will share with you that will show you how to take it from there to change the avatar to look exactly how you like, and there's a wide range of clothing and different looks that you can have, but we do ask that your first one you try to make it look as much like yourself as possible. So I'm going to go back to my default avatar, so I'm going to load my preset, and that will to do something with that. And I'm going to apply and exit. There we go. So I'm back to normal. We can also change our camera view from here, and I would invite you to always work your way through those different icons there. There's nothing you can do to hurt the program on those icons. I'm going to assume that if you're watching this video, it's because you're not into 3DU yet. And before you are given your login to get into 3DU, you'll need to know the rules. So you'll download the program and install it, and you'll be prompted with a set of fields that say username and password. You need the username and the password from us. The username is going to be pretty common. It starts with HC, your first name and your last initial, or a couple more initials if somebody has the same first name and last name. And the password, though, is going to be very unique and is going to be something that you do not share with anyone else under any circumstances. Which brings us to the first rule in the iBurst rules. Be careful sharing. So the first thing that you don't want to share is your password. So when you get on and you put your username and password in after getting it from us, you'll go into the clouds in Library World. It will give you an opportunity to check a box that says Save Password. You do not want to do that because almost everybody in your household will know what your username is, and if you have younger or older siblings, we don't want them in world using your account. We don't want parents in world using your account. This is a world that is just for the students. Parents are more than welcome to view and to participate by observing, but we are keeping this as a place that's just for the teachers that have had criminal record checks done and students. Okay, so be clear on that. And the other thing is, not only do you not save the password and not share the password, but if you've logged in and you walk away from your computer, somebody else can go in and use your account because you haven't logged out of it. So you need to log out when you're not using it. Don't leave it overnight, those kinds of things. The other thing, of course, with be careful sharing is this is not a place for sharing information that's of a personal nature or that could identify you. So we have those expectations here. We will not be very happy if anyone is sharing phone numbers or email addresses or anything like that. That may be done in class with cooperation from the teacher and or parents, but not in virtual worlds. You just don't do that because you don't know for sure who you're dealing with. The next thing is use good words. That's a somewhat subjective rule because some people may think that some words are fine to use and not others. So we ask you to use good judgment, and if there's any doubt at all about the words that you're using, don't use them. And that sort of leads us to the next one. That's about respect and respecting others. And it's not just the words you use, but the words that you string together. We want you to be very respectful of other people, so if you don't like their avatar, that doesn't mean that you have to be nasty about it and tell people that their avatar is ugly, especially when they've worked very hard, perhaps to make that avatar look exactly like they do. So be very respectful when you're in world. You'll also have some building rights in the classes that you're in. And that means that you could build on other people's property. You can't delete their stuff, but you can build there. And if you do, that's a problem. You need to respect the boundaries. You have places where you can build, and there are places where you cannot build. And one place you cannot build is on other people's properties at any time for any reason. That brings us in the iBurst rules to S, which is support all. So you may help people if they have questions. We urge you to do that. What we're trying to build here is a collaborative learning environment. So in this learning environment, everyone is helpful to everyone else. And that is the way that we're moving in our society and in virtual environments. So we want you to get used to that. And the last one is social. is the T for talk to someone new. So please be social in here, and especially if you're using things like French or Spanish, we want you in those worlds to be using that language as much as possible whenever you can. Your teacher will talk to you separately about using the voice chat. I don't want to encourage that at this point yet, but in your classes you may use the voice chat, or you'll be using things like Zoom and talking to each other. But when classes are over, you'll be using primarily the chat, and we want you to communicate with other people when you're doing that. Now please feel free to explore. There's really nothing too much in the way of damage that you can do. You can exit using the menu and going to exit, or just X out at the top. You can also go to teleport, and where that's important is I have made someplace my home. In other words, this is the place where I'm going to come to most often, and it's right outside of my French classroom. So I've made that my home, and how I've done that is I've landed up outside of the classroom, not inside but outside, and I go to teleport and I say make this my home. And so now when I log into 3DU, this is where I'll come to. Now if there are other places I want to go to, let's just say for instance I want to go down the hall and I want to be outside of another classroom. So this is another French classroom I'm going to go to, and let me just go to first person view so we can get a clearer look at this. It's Madame Hadley's classroom. So if I want to go to Madame Hadley's classroom, what I can do is I can go to teleport, remember, and I can go to Hadley classroom. I'm going to save that location, and now when I go to my teleports, I can go directly to that location. It's in alphabetical order. You can see I have a lot of them. When I click on that, it will take me straight to her classroom. Now let me go home and try that again. Okay, as you can see, I'm outside of my classroom now. When I click on Madame Hadley's classroom, I'm there right now. So this is a great way of saving time with getting around, and something that I would encourage you to play around with. We've gone through the views, the different views. Of course there's look up and look down. You can use the page up and page down key. I would go to show and play with those to see what comes up when you click on those different things. Your avatar, there are different avatars that you can pick that are pre-made avatars, and you can have some fun with that. But I think the only other one that I really need to teach you right now is that when you're going into some worlds, it may be that they're very thick with a lot of graphics. And if they are, and you've got it set for 200 meters, what that means is it's trying to pull in everything through the internet to your computer, and it will get to be a whole lot. If you look down at the bottom there, you see I've got 315, 400 items it's trying to bring in because of the distance. If I go to visibility down to 70 meters, you'll see that that will start to go down very quickly because it's not trying to load in so many graphics. Now, if you're trying to load in a whole lot of graphics, it might overwhelm your computer and cause you to shut down. So remember, if you're going into someplace new, start off especially with low visibility, and then once you've been in for a little while and all the graphics have been loaded into your cache, then you can start building it up further and further. And as you can see all the way down to the end of the classroom there. And the more that you do that, build up your cache, the more realistic this is all going to be. So I hope that what I've shared with you today is going to be helpful to you, that you're going to have a wonderful time in here, that you're going to not only have fun, but you're going to learn lots from your teachers and from other students as well, and that you're going to be very helpful to everyone else. I'm looking forward to having you as a contact, so look out for me, and if you see me, make sure that you do say hi. So bye for now.